This is Rishikesh Writings, and today we are with Swami Indradyumna ji, who's the founder of Rishikesh Kirtan Fest, and this is the fourth Kirtan Fest in Rishikesh. Namaste Swamiji.
Namaste.
Swamiji, please share about the idea of this Kirtan festival, especially in Rishikesh, the land of Shiva and the land of the Ganga.
You know, Rishikesh is one of the main spiritual centers, holy places in India. Of course, there's almost unlimited holy places in this great land of Bharat, of India. But around the world now, yoga is becoming very popular. I think Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, he's also helped in that regard. There's a yoga day once a year around the world. So it shows how popular Indian culture actually is. So many of the people practicing yoga, they want to come to the source. They want to come to India and learn more about the culture of yoga. And of course, as this is Rishikesh, this is where the rishis lived previously, and to some degree they still live here on the bank of the Ganges. So this is a very opportune place to come and share Vedic culture, we'd say the original culture of India, with the Westerners, because we practice it. You could say myself and my compatriots here, we're your adopted sons and daughters of India, because we don't just come here as tourists. We have embraced this culture in every regard, and we understand it very deeply, and therefore we want the Westerners to get a good impression of what is India and what is the original spiritual culture. So this festival is open to everyone. Also, we want to remind the people of India of their spiritual heritage, because with material progress, sometimes we become enamored and we forget our roots. So this festival is open both to Westerners and to Indians as well, to discover the great spiritual culture of this country.
And how do you introduce the Indian to their own culture, and how you introduce the Westerner toward the Indian wisdom?
Well, we give lectures from the scriptures of India. This is how we've learned about the Indian culture. Krishna, as every Indian knows, appeared 5,000 years ago, and he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. You know, the Vedic literature is very vast. I was speaking with one yogi the other day. He said it takes 3 lifetimes to read all the Vedas. So Krishna summarized it in Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses of concise spiritual wisdom. So that knowledge is easy to understand if explained properly. So people come here. Who am I? Where have I come from? What happens with death? What is karma? Does God exist? So we give lectures based on the Bhagavad Gita to answer their questions, first of all. Because this is not a sentimental religion. It's based on strong philosophical facts. Then we feed them nice vegetarian food. More than just vegetarian, it's prasadam, which of course our viewers know is food offered to the Lord, becomes spiritual food. And then we have kirtan. Kirtan, or the chanting of the names of God, has become very popular all over the world as a result of the yoga culture. So in our movement, we have devotees from all over the world, practically every country of the world. We have devotees in the Hare Krishna movement. Some of them are expert musicians and singers, so we bring them, and we spend hours and hours and hours singing the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's a festival. People like parties, they like festivals, so why not have a spiritual festival to awaken your deeper spiritual nature? So that's Kirtan Fest. But from morning till night, we're having Kirtan, we're giving talks, we're distributing a vegetarian feast in the evening, and we have workshops. Yesterday was for the ladies, how to do henna. The day before that was how to put on a sari. Today it'll be how to play a mridanga. Tomorrow it'll be lessons in beginners lessons in Sanskrit. So like this.
And what message you would like to say to the youth of Rishikesh and the youth of India? These days we heard lots of news coming that youth is going toward the drugs and the things which West is lefting, that India is adopting.
The funny thing is that many of the youth of this country, they're getting educated. There's good education in this country. They're getting educated and then they're flying to America, to Silicon Valley, IT, to work. Well, many Western boys and girls and men and women are coming from America or Europe or Australia to India to learn spiritual things. So it's kind of this interesting phenomenon in modern society. I would say both are important. Both are important. We need spiritual, material progress. I mean, I'm wearing a watch, we're using microphones, we came in a car, airplanes, we need material progress, but by nature, we're not material. We're not the body. The body is just made of matter, and deep within the body, there's a spiritual energy, there's a spark of life. We say in Sanskrit, Atman, there's a soul. And the ultimate purpose of the human form of life is to understand my deeper spiritual nature and my connection with Bhagavan, or we say in the West, God. That opportunity is not there in any other species of life, only the human form of life. So along with the human form of life comes the responsibility to discover my spiritual nature, like the journey within. So really life's about a balance. We can't go to the jungle like the yogis and live in the caves.
Yeah, because of the modern society.
Yeah, neither should we become so involved and just enamored by Western culture and think that's going to bring us full happiness. It'll make life a little easier, Western culture, but it's not going to solve the problems of life like birth, disease, old age, and death. These are problems for even a successful person in material society. So there has to be a spiritual side to life, otherwise you won't be balanced. Not all material, not all spiritual, but a balance. So to the youth of India, you have the richest, most diverse, deep, attractive, happy, spiritual culture. Don't give it up just for only the material side of life. Learn IT technology, learn business, become a musician, become a teacher, become a politician, but at the same time, don't lose your roots, because your spiritual roots go deeper, with all due respect to other religions in the world, deeper than any other religion, because I've studied them all. We should respect other spiritual traditions, other religions. In this country you have Muslims, you have Christians, you have Jains, you have Buddhists. They're all on the spiritual path. We should live in harmony with each other. But this is the beauty of India, that you can take to your particular chosen faith in this country. You're protected because it's a democracy, but don't give it up just for materialism.
How do you see recently our Prime Minister visited Dwarka? How the West see this?
Dwarka or Ayodhya?
Dwarka also.
Dwarka.
Yeah.
We have, in our Vedic culture, we have Yudhishthira.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Bhagavad Purana, the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yudhishthira was the emperor for the whole world. Now you say this in some Western university, they'll go, what? But we have faith in our gurus and our shastras and our sadhus, so we know that at one time the whole world was part of the Vedic culture of India, and it was ruled by the emperor Yudhishthira here in, nearby Hastinapur or Delhi. So he was, we would say in Sanskrit, Raja Rishi. He was a Raj, he was a king, he knew how to administrate society, but he was also yogi. He was also a saintly person sitting on the throne, so he could also encourage people in their spiritual lives. So I think of Narendra Modi as a Raja Rishi. Many politicians are self-serving, they're duplicitous. I'm not talking about India, well, maybe sometimes India, but in the world we see politicians as more about greed. I think he truly cares about the people of this country, all the people of this country, not a certain section as sometimes he's criticized. I believe he loves India, Bharat, and he's doing the best to accommodate everybody. And the fact that he goes to holy places is an excellent sign. That he himself, originally he was a sadhu. In his youth, he practiced spiritual life. So I think he's an excellent leader. And I think he sets a good example by going to Dwarka and going to Tirupati and going to Sri Rangam and going to Ayodhya and establishing that beautiful temple for Ram, Jai Sri Ram. So he's a good leader. He knows how to administrate to in such a way to give people what they need materially. Material needs are satisfied. At the same time, he's concerned about people's spiritual welfare. Ideal leader.
At last, what is your best moment in Rishikesh?
Well, I have a few, if that's okay. One is bathing in the Ganga Ma. I first came to India, again, 1972, as almost just out of my teenage years. And the first place I came was Rishikesh, because I'd heard the glories of Mother Ganges, how she trickles in from the spiritual world, from Vaikuntha, down to the heavenly planets, Middle Earth, and that by bathing in her, you become purified, and your spiritual nature is awoken. So I made a mad dash for Ganga. So I've been coming for 50 years to India, and I always make it a point to come bathe in Mother Ganges. A high point for me is to meet the sadhus who reside here, because it's said that a spiritual person sees through his ears, not through his eyes. What we see may not be the real picture. We have to see from Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu to see the spiritual aspect. So I like to associate with the holy men who live here. That's a high point. But of course, I'm biased. My real high point is when we have our programs in the hall here at Ananda Ashram, and so many Westerners come who are looking for spiritual knowledge. So many beautiful people of Rishikesh, the Indian people, they come and they're engaged in Kirtan, chanting these names of Bhagavan, chanting the names of the Lord, which we understand is Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma means it's a particular process for self-realization, which is applicable to the age we live in. There's Saci Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, but this is Kali Yuga. It's even influencing India, the evils of Kali Yuga. But to see people come and be happy, spiritually satisfied, chanting Hare Krishna, that's my high point, because it takes a lot to put this festival on. We have to raise huge funds, which we raise in the West, and mass organization, and I've got a crew of 65 devotees from 14 countries. So to bring them here and organize them, the effort, the austerities, etc., it's all worth it. When I see, like you could say, a family of man, we're not thinking I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm German, I'm French, I'm black, I'm white, I'm man, I'm yellow. We just see ourselves all as part and parcel of God. And that's the peace formula. So seeing that on a minuscule level, here in this great cultural center of Rishikesh, it gives me great satisfaction.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nan, for coming. And
Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your beautiful time. And we wish this festival will flourish all across the world, not in a Rishikesh.
Yeah. And this beautiful city, we thank we have a mayor here, we have a committee. How does it run here in?
Rishikesh is in 3 districts, like one Tihri, Pauri, and Dehradun. So here is one main politician who represent this part of Rishikesh.
I see.
Other part represent different politician. Other part is mayor.
We thank them all for, maintaining Rishikesh. I've been to many places in the world which are not nicely maintained, even in India, unfortunately. But Rishikesh is very prosperous and very clean. There's lots of opportunities for work here and business, etc. And so it's a pleasure just to come to see the infrastructure of the city. I've watched it develop from 1972, and to facilitate, especially us Westerners who come to this great country and this great city for our spiritual interests. We're very, very grateful for the politicians and the managers of this great city, and the newspapers who come to inquire from us why we're here. So thank you. Sorry.
What?
For free.
That.
We had donations of 3,000 saris, so in the evening the girls pick, and then we dress them. They get the henna, and they get the face painting.
Wow.
And they get an experience of India, a nice experience.
Fantastic.
It's very nice. She's an artist.
Wow.